Hi loves, welcome back. This is the part 2 of the story. If you haven't watched part 1, please check the link in the description or the pinned comments so you don't get confused. And if this is your first time here, you're welcome. Subscribe, like, it really helps the channel grow. Alright, let's get into part 2. Noskike Lomo stopped when Abisola called her. She turned slowly like she was hearing her name in a dream. She didn't want to finish, Ma. Abby smiled. That same smile she used when she wanted to look harmless. But her eyes were not smiling. Nurse, Abby said softly, "You know we talked." The nurse's throat moved. "Ma, please, I've done what you asked already." Abby tilted her head. "You've done part." The nurse frowned, confused. "Part?" Abby leaned forward, lowering her voice to the level of sin. "My friend is here, MC. She's in labor." The nurse's face changed immediately. "Your friend? The woman that came in last night?" Abby nodded once. "She will deliver soon." Nurse Kike stepped back slowly. "Ma? No." Abby's smile stayed. "Yes." "No." Nurse Kike repeated firmer. "I can't. I won't." Abby signed like she was tired of arguing with poverty. Then she opened her bag and brought out a bigger envelope. The kind of envelope that makes a person's conscience start stuttering. Nurse Kike stared at it, her eyes widened. Her hands tightened on her clipboard. "Ma, you don't understand. This is not Abby Curtin." Voice still soft, still sweet. "I understand perfectly." She pushed the envelope closer. "You people like saying this is not Nigeria until money appears. Then it suddenly becomes Nigeria again." The nurse swallowed hard. "Madam, swapping babies is..." Abby's voice sharpened. "Just for 1 second. Swapping babies is what?" Silence. Abby's eyes narrowed. "Say it." The nurse's lips trembled. It's evil." Abby nodded slowly like she was hearing an interesting opinion. "Okay." Then Abby's mouth carved into a small smile again. "Take the money." Nurse Kike shook her head quickly. "No." Abby leaned in. "Nurse, you know what I've noticed about people like you?" The nurse didn't respond. Abby continued, almost friendly. "You want to be good. You want to be righteous. But you also have rent and siblings and problems." Nurse Kike's eyes dropped. Abby whispered, sharper now. "Do you know how easy it is for me to report you for the surgery we just did?" Nurse Kike froze. Abby nodded slowly. "You already crossed the line with me. Don't try to become an angel now." The nurse's breathing quickened. Abby softened again, acting gentle. "Relax. Nobody will know. We'll do it quietly. You go home. You'll sleep well. And your children will eat." Nurse Kike looked like she wanted to cry. Abby's voice became the final nail. "And if you refuse, I will make sure you lose everything." Nurse Kike squeezed her eyes shut. Her shoulders fell. A long breath left her body. Then she opened her eyes again. Eyes that had given up. "Ma, God will punish you," she whispered. Abby smiled like she was okay with that. "God knows my reason." And that was when Nurse Kike knew the truth. Abby wasn't doing this out of fear. Abby was doing this out of jealousy. Jealousy with full battery. Yemisi delivered later that morning. A bouncing baby boy. She cried the kind of cry rich men don't like crying. Quiet, shaky, grateful. Yemi was tired, sweaty, emotional, but happy. She held her baby against her chest and whispered, "My son." She kissed her forehead. "You did well." Yemi smiled weakly. Then she said, almost laughing through her tears, "So I did it." She laughed softly. "Yes, you did it." Yemisi closed her eyes and breathed. She didn't know that while she was thanking God, Abby was arranging her pain. When it was time to bathe and check the kids, the nurse took them. This was normal. Yemisi didn't think of anything. She didn't think anything of it, because why would anyone think evil inside the hospital? But Abby was waiting. Abby sat up on her bed like a queen waiting for her servant. Her own baby was beside her, sleeping innocently. Abby didn't look at him with love. She looked at him like a tool, like a key. Nurse Kiki came in, face tight, eyes avoiding Abby. Abby's voice was low. "It's time." The nurse nodded once stiff. Abby's heart beat faster, not from fear, from excitement. The kind of excitement people get when they're about to win a scene. The swap happened fast, quiet like an accident. One moment, 2 babies. The next moment, 2 babies. Nothing looked different on the outside, but inside, 2 destinies had just been dragged out of their rightful houses and thrown into the wrong compound. Nurse Kike's hands were shaking. Abby's hands were steady. Abby took her own baby, Yemisi's baby, and held him and stared into his face. Then she muttered under her breath, "So this is the child of the woman that thinks she's better than me." Baby yawned. Abby's mouth twisted. She didn't kiss him. She didn't coo. She just held him like a person holding a grudge. Later that afternoon, Abby finally texted Yemisi, Bestie, I have delivered though." Yemisi's eyes widened. She typed immediately, Yemisi, are you serious? You didn't tell me. Are you in the hospital? Yes, so I was rushed in last night. It was emergency, but thank God. Yemi frowned, confused but happy. Yemi, thank God. Where are you? Let me come and see you. When Yemi walked into Abby's world, she was holding her own baby, Abby's biological child, against her chest. Her face was glowing despite the tiredness. Abby sat on her own bed, holding Yemisi's biological child. Two friends, two new mothers, two smiling faces, two babies. Yemisi squealed quickly. Abby, congratulations. Abby smiled brightly. Bestie, see you so. God is too much. Yemi leaned over, looked into Abby's baby's face. He's so fine. Abby nodded quickly. Yes, fine boy. Yemisi held her own baby up slightly. Mine too. See his nose. He's already looking like Sheyi. Sheyi chuckled. Abby. Abby smiled tightened for half a second. God is good, Abby said. Yemisi moved closer, emotional. Abby, I'm sorry I couldn't come earlier. Everything happened so fast. Abby touched Yemisi's hand and smiled. It's okay. We're together now. But as Abby said together, her eyes were saying something else. I've scratched you. I have scattered you. They went home. Life started, and that was when the difference began. Because Abby's heart was rotting with jealousy, and she poured it into Yemisi's child. Abby didn't call the boy my son with love. She called him my son, like sarcasm. When he cried, Abby would hiss. When he fell sick, Abby would say he's only doing drama. When people tried to advise her, she would reply, this boy is stubborn. Stubborn care. As if stubbornness can make a baby lose weight. As if stubbornness can make a child's eyes look tired. Abby didn't care. If she couldn't punish Yemisi directly, she would punish Yemisi's blood. That child grew up in Abby's house like he visited her old rent. Yemisi, on the other hand, raised the boy she believed was hers with love. Proper school, proper care, proper prayer. The boy grew like a plant that was watered daily. He was confident, smart, calm, and people would always say, Yemi, your son is doing well, oh. Yemi would smile proudly. She would say, that's my boy. Abby would smile too. But inside her jealousy would whisper, he is mine. Years passed, and something funny happened. Not funny like laughter, funny like wicked irony. Abby started coming around more. She would start calling Yemisi's son my son at first. Yemisi didn't mind. In Nigeria, calling your friend's child by child is normal. It's love. Yemi would laugh and say, Abby, leave my child, oh. Abby would laugh back. I said he is my son. And she would squeeze his cheeks too tight like she was holding a secret. On the boy's 18th birthday, Yemisi decided to do something big. So she called family and friends and even people from churches. She wanted it to be memorable. She arranged everything. A small private gathering. Classy food, nice music, and then in front of everybody, Yemisi brought out a brown envelope. Her voice was shaking with emotion. My son, today you clock 18, and your father and I want to bless you. The boy smiled shyly. Yemisi continued, we've transferred property to you. This is your own, your foundation, your future. Everyone clapped. Some aunties shouted, whoa. Some uncles nodded, like they were witnessing legacy. Abby clapped too, but her clap was different. Her clap sounded like finally. After the celebration, Abby started following the boy around like a shadow. Come here, my son. Sit near me, my son. Eat more, my son. The boy started getting confused because Abby didn't treat him like this when he was growing up. Now suddenly she was acting like his personal fan club. Yemi even laughed one day and said, Abby, you've adopted my son officially. Abby smiled sweetly. Is it a crime to love? Then Abby asked for a family gathering, a small visit. She invited a few close friends, some from church, some mutual friends. Yemi came, thinking it was just normal gist. The boy came too. Sheyi was there. Kunle was there. Abby sat in front like someone about to give testimony. She cleared her throat. Everybody looked. Abby smiled, and then she said it, calm, clear, like she was announcing whether this boy is my real son. Silence. The kind of silence that slaps you. Yemisi blinked. What did you just say? Abby repeated it loudly. I said, he is my son. I gave birth to him. Auntie Roke's mouth opened. Uncle Tayo dropped his drink. Kunle frowned. Abi, what are you saying? Abi turned to Kunle sharply. Keep quiet. Kunle went silent, shocked. Abi faced the crowd. Yemisi's own son is the one in my house. People started shouting, hey, Jesus, how? Abi lifted her chin like she was proud. I swapped them. Yemisi's body went cold. She stood up sharply. What nonsense is this? Abi smiled. It's not nonsense, it's the truth. Yemisi's lips were trembling. Her hands shook. She looked at the boy. The boy's face had drained color. He stared at Abi like he was looking at a stranger, wearing his mother's face. Then he turned slowly to Yemisi, the only mother he had ever known. His voice broke. Mom. Yemisi's throat tightened. The boy's eyes filled with tears. Mom, is she really my mom? Yemisi couldn't speak. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out, and the whole room exploded into chaos. The room was still shaking from Abi's bombshell. People were talking over each other. Swap in a hospital? Jesus. The boy's voice had cut through everything like a blade. Mom, is she really my mom? Yemisi stood there with her mouth open, but her voice refused to come out. Her eyes moved from the boy to Abisola and back again, like her brain was trying to reboot. Shay was already on his feet, face hard. Kunle, Abi's husband, looked like someone poured cold water inside his shirt. And Abisola was enjoying the confusion. She stood there with her chin lifted, acting like she had just delivered an award-winning testimony. Don't be shocked, she said, waving her hand dramatically. I'm saying the truth. I gave birth to him. He is my son. He turned to the boy and stretched out his hand towards him. My son, come. The boy didn't move. He held Yemi's hand tighter. His eyes were wet, but the fear in them was stronger than the tears. Yemi's throat finally worked. Abi. Her voice was low, not weak, not begging. Low like thunder. Abi turned to her with a smile. Yes, Bestie. Yemisi nodded slowly, as if she was acknowledging something she had known for a long time. Okay. Abi smiled widely, because she thought okay meant surrender. She thought Yemisi would begin to cry and scatter. She thought Yemisi would start pleading. She thought Yemisi would start negotiating, because Abisola had been waiting years to see Yemisi break. Abi tapped her nails on her thighs, enjoying the moment. You see, she said to the crowd, that's why I didn't talk since, but today I had to talk, because Yemisi raised her hand gently. Abi. Abi paused irritatedly. What now? Yemisi took a step forward, then another. She looked around at the faces in the room. Friends, family, church people, people who loved gist more than Bible verses. Then she looked straight at Abi, and she smiled. Not a happy smile. A smile that said you really thought you were smart. Abi, Yemisi said quietly, you've always been bad at keeping secrets. Abi blinked. What? Yemisi nodded again. And you've always been bad at business. Abi frowned. What is this one? Yemisi tilted her head. You wanted my customers, but you didn't want my character. That's why your hair page died before it even grew teeth. The room murmured. Abi's face tightened. She moved closer to Yemi, protective. Abi snapped. Yemisi, stop this rubbish. You're talking about my son. Yemisi's voice rose slightly. No. Everybody froze because Yemisi wasn't shouting. But when a calm woman finally raises her voice, it's usually because she has been holding fire in her chest. Yemisi turned to the boy, her eyes softened. My love, she said. Look at me. The boy looked at her like a child again. Yemisi's voice broke a little. Whatever anybody says today, you are not alone. You are mine. I have been your mother since you opened your eyes on this world. The boy's lips trembled, but she said, Yemisi nodded. I know. Then she faced Abi again. And yes, she's right about one thing. Abi's mouth opened in triumph. I knew it, Abi cried. I told you he's mine. Yemisi raised one finger. But she's wrong about the other. Abi paused. The room held its breath. Yemisi's eyes locked on Abi because the babies were never swapped. Abi's smile crashed. What? Yemisi's voice remained steady. They were never swapped. The room exploded again. So what is she saying? What kind of madness is this? Abi's head turned to the left and right, confused angrily. Yemisi, are you mad? Are you trying to cover it up? Are you trying to Abi? Yemisi said calmly. Shut up. Silence. Abi gasped like she had been slapped. Kunle stared at Yemisi like he had never seen her before. And that was when Yemisi did one thing Abisola never expected. She called someone out. Nurse Kike Lomo. Everyone turned. Nurse Kike had been sitting at the back, small and quiet, like a shadow trying to disappear. Now she stood up slowly, her hands were shaking. Her eyes were red. You brought the nurse here? Abi stammered. Yemi nodded. Yes, I brought her. Abby's voice rose. So you plan to disgrace me? Yemisi's face didn't change. No, Abby. You disgraced yourself. I only brought the receipt. The room murmured, receipt? Nigerians fear receipt more than juju. Yemisi faced Noskike. Nurse, tell them. Noskike's voice was small at first. I'm sorry, Abby laughed sharply. Sorry for what? Tell them you swapped them. Tell them. Noskike looked at Abby, tears shining. Then looked at Yemi. Then she looked at the room. And she spoke. That day in the hospital, Madam Abisola tried to bribe me. Kule's eyes widened. Abby's face tightened. Noskike continued, voice shaking but growing stronger. She wanted me to lie to her husband that she was in labor, so she could deliver before her friend. Kule's mouth opened slowly. Abby waved her hand. Shut up, she's lying. Noskike shook her head. I'm not lying. Kule's voice was hers. So that bill, that money I paid, it looked like the ground was moving. The emergency, you weren't even in labor. Abby tried to talk, but the words didn't arrange themselves because the truth was standing too strong. Noskike wiped her tears, and after she delivered, she wanted me to swap the babies. The room gasped. Abby pointed a shaking finger. Tell them you did it. Noskike swallowed. I did not. Abby froze. What? Noskike shook her head again. I did not. Because she turned to Yemi. Because your friend, she walked in. Everybody turned to Yemisi. Abby's face twisted. What friend? Yemisi exhaled. My cousin, Ronke. Some people murmured, Ronke. Yemisi nodded. She was the one that came to see me in the hospital early that morning. She saw something was off. Yemisi's voice tightened with memory. She saw Noskike about to do something. She confronted her. Noskike nodded quickly. She confronted me. Yes, I broke down. I told her everything. Abby's lips parted. Her face was losing color. Noskike continued. She said, don't do it. Don't destroy lives. Yemisi stepped forward, and when she told me, Yemisi said, voice firm, I wanted to expose you immediately, Abby. Abby hissed. Expose me? For what? You don't have proof. Yemisi smiled faintly. But I didn't. Abby paused. Yemisi's smile became sad. I didn't expose you because I wanted you to expose yourself. The room went silent again. Yemisi turned to Abby slowly. I stayed close to you, Abby. Abby blinked rapidly. Yemisi continued. I watched you. I monitored you. Abby's throat moved. Yemisi's voice began to shake. Not from fear. From pain. I watched you maltreat that child in your house. I watched you treat him like punishment. Abby opened her mouth to speak. Yemisi raised her hand again. Don't. Abby shut her mouth. Yemisi's eyes were wet now. I cautioned you many times. I begged you. I bought things. I asked questions. She looked at the crowd and she would always say, leave him. That's how he is. Yemisi turned back to Abby, voice cracking. Abby, you thought you were punishing my child. She pointed gently, like the truth itself was pointing. But you were punishing your own. The room erupted. Child, Jesus, wickedness. Abby staggered back one step. Kule turned fully to Abby now, face hard, voice shaking with anger. So all those times you were shouting at the boy, beating him, starving him, Kule's voice broke. You thought it was your friend's son? Abby's eyes darted around. No. Kule pointed at her. You forced me to pay hospital money when you were not ready. You disgraced me. You lied to me. Abby's voice rose defensive. I didn't lie. I was scared. Kule snapped. Scared of what? That your friend would deliver before you? Kule shook his head like he was seeing Abby properly for the first time. So you did all this because Yemisi had everything easy. Abby burst out suddenly, pouring venom. Yes! People gasped. Everything was always easy for her. Customers, money, husband, happiness. Meanwhile, me, I was managing. I was packaging and suffering inside. Kule stared at her disgusted. So you turned life into competition, and your own competition made you evil. Abby opened her mouth to defend herself, but another voice cut in. The boy. Yemisi's son, the boy she raised, stepped forward, shaking. His eyes were red. He looked at Abby, and his voice was steady, even though he was crying. Don't call yourself my mother. Abby's face softened immediately, switching to fake tears. My son. He raised his hand. No. Everybody froze. He pointed to Yemisi. That is my mother. She raised me. She loved me. She carried me. His voice tightened. And even if it turns out that you are the one that gave birth to me, he swallowed hard. I would never come to you. Abby's fake tears stopped. The boy's voice rose. Because you are wicked. The room murmured loudly. Abby tried again, but he cut her off. You are the worst mother on earth. Kule stepped forward to jaw tight, and I can't do this again. Abi turned to him, panicking. Kule shook his head. I'm filing for divorce. The room went quiet, like the air was sucked out. Abi stumbled forward. You can't divorce me because of this. Kule's voice thundered. This is not this. This is years of wickedness. He pointed again. You wanted to punish your friend so badly that you punished your own child. Abi's knees almost buckled. She turned to the ground looking for sympathy, looking for one person to say it's okay. But nobody spoke to her, because this kind of evil doesn't have fan club. One woman hissed loudly, another shook her head. Somebody muttered, jealousy don't turn them to witch. Abi's head snapped towards them again. People should stop talking, but the crowd had already turned. In Nigeria, once people smelled disgrace, they gathered like ants. Some people shouted shame, another shouted, God go judge you. Abi looked at Yemi again, desperate now. Yemi, please. Yemi's eyes were red, but her voice was calm. Abi, don't step into my house again. Abi's lips trembled. Yemi continued, and don't call him your son again. Abi's eyes widened. But you said the babies were never swapped, so Yemi nodded. Yes, they were never swapped. Then she looked at Abi like she was looking at a stranger. So the boy you maltreated is your son. Abi's breath hitched. Yemi added quieter now, more painful. And the boy I raised is mine. Abi's face cracked. Her plan had failed. She had planned to claim the boy so she could taste the property. She had planned to enter inheritance like a thief in the night, but instead she had only entered disgrace. And the worst punishment. It wasn't even the booing. It wasn't even the divorce. It wasn't even the loss of money. It was the fact that the son she had been calling my son with sweet mouth, but looking at her like she was poison. The boy held Yemi's hands again, turning away from Abi completely. I'm 18, he said, voice shaking. I'm old enough to choose. He looked at Abi one last time. I chose my mother. Tears fell silently. Shay wrapped an arm around them. Kunle stood like a broken man, staring at his wife, like she was a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. Abi stood in the middle of everyone alone, and for the first time in her life, she finally understood something. When you dig a pit for somebody, you might not fall inside, but you will definitely smell the dust. Abi's voice was small now. So what about the property? Silence. The MC answered cold and final. The property belongs to my son. Abi's eyes widened. But Yemisi cut her off. You're not part of my blessing. Abi's mouth opened again, but the crowd had started booing. Not small boo, full Nigerian boo. Ewo, get out, wicked woman. Abi's legs moved backward on their own. She looked around and hoping for one friendly face. Nobody. Even Kule had turned his back. Abi walked out. As she walked out, the same people she tried to impress with packaging were now watching her like a warning sign. That night, MC sat with her son, holding him like she did when he was 5, and whispered, Mom, I'm scared. Yemisi kissed the forehead. I know. Sheyi sat beside them. Nothing would happen, I'm here. Yemisi looked at Sheyi, eyes full. Sheyi nodded, we'll protect our home. And for the first time since Abi's announcement, the room finally felt like peace. But somewhere inside, Abi's jealousy was still alive. Only now, it had nowhere to hide. And everybody knew what she was. Her husband, Kunle, and their son both left her alone. The end. Some of the lessons to be learned from this story are: jealousy doesn't ruin friendship. It turns you into a villain of your own life. Character is the real plug. Evil plans backfire, sometimes in the most painful way. I hope you guys enjoyed this wonderful masterpiece. Please go ahead and click on the subscribe button. Support us. Send this story to someone you know who will be deeply touched and moved to listen to this story. Like this story, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Leave me a comment about what you learned, and I'll see you next one, my loves. Till then, bye. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.